Hello and welcome to the Ireland Rugby Social after a rather tense win for Ireland against Italy here in Dublin. The Seagulls have taken over at the Aviva. Former Ireland international Mike McCarthy is alongside me. Later we'll hear from Conor, we'll hear from the Ireland camp as well. But Mike, first of all, you were working with BBC Radio Ulster today. How are the stress levels after that one?
Oh, the heart's still pounding. That was a stressful finish, wasn't it? Yeah, look, for me, Italy turned up with an incredible amount of intent, physicality, backed up the performance last week against Scotland. Great win against Scotland last week for Italy, and then they came out here, they came with an incredible amount of physicality, intent. Like I said, they came to play, they had a lot of confidence, their shape, their game plan was really good, and it's kind of feels like Ireland just got over the edge at the end, but the last 5-10 minutes was incredibly intense. And I think, you know, for me, looking at that game, the big concern going into next week's game against England is the scrum. Some horrible pictures there. Tyke Furlong getting his wings going up in the air. First half, Dan Sheehan going up in the air. So, look, we'll see what happens with the Calcutta Cup, Scotland, England. But next week against England, I think looking at those pictures, England will be licking their lips at the prospect of scrum time. Because, you know, the front row did such a good job against France coming off the back of that South Africa game. So, yeah, big concern there at scrum time.
How do you fix that in a week?
Yeah, it's a lot of the time it could be a small fix because, you know, John Fogarty's going to have a lot of work to do during the week. But it was just the arrowhead of pressure coming on from the back five, from the Italian team, all 16 feet on the floor, power coming through as soon as the ball came in. And yeah, sometimes it's a small fix looking at obviously the footage, doing a lot of walkthroughs, working on your binds and your setups, and yeah, hopefully it's a one-off because, as I say, they did a great job last week against France. But you thought after that South Africa game in November, when Ireland came under so much pressure at scrum time, the concern going into the French game was how was the scrum going to do? And the set-piece platform against France was actually really good. But yeah, here against Italy, it looked really concerning.
Everybody's calling for an Ireland win. They needed a win.
Yeah.
But was it enough of a win?
I don't think it was enough, but I think everyone's just, after last week, especially the disappointment of that first half, where Ireland never just really got going. Big impact off the bench against France, obviously, and it was similar today. Ireland actually started really well. I think they got the first scrum penalty. Ireland played with a lot of intent. The carrier, I think Joe McCarthy had 2 dominant carries in the first minute, and he had 2 carries in the whole of the French game. So Ireland actually came out of the blocks well. I think after 20 minutes they had 75% of the possession, but that didn't tell on the scoreboard. 20 minutes onwards, Italy really came into the game and played with that fluency, accuracy, throwing the ball around, looked really dangerous, looked really threatening. But yeah, there's loads of work-ons, aren't there? I suppose looking at the longer term, you have to remember, are we being a bit too harsh on Ireland? Because I think, what are they missing? 15, 16, 17, 18 players possibly unavailable. So longer term, 18 months out from the World Cup, it's a positive thing in terms of building depth. And look, again, a lot of positives to take, but you have to say Italy are improving as well, and that's a factor. They were really good today.
What were the positives then for Ireland? Who were the key players who maybe put their hand up for next week?
Yeah, I think positives-wise, you know, some of the fresher faces that got a chance. Izuchukwu didn't set the place alight, but showed how good he is in defensive lineouts, getting up in the air, stealing ball. He's mobile, he's physical, caused a few problems for Italy at the breakdown with his counter-rucking. Dogbu came on, and that was great to see him on, especially after the journey he's been through with his injuries. I think tearing his left Achilles, his right Achilles, an injury in between that as well. So great to see him. He gave a bit of a silly penalty away, but you know, he'll only grow with confidence. So yes, you wonder, will Josh van der Fleer come back into the mix for the England game? Because Farrell certainly made a statement by leaving some of the bigger names out. But you know, I think the resolve to see the game out, and I do think that last few minutes where it was the chip over the top from Garbisi and Menoncello, the all ball almost bounced into his hands. It was very close to going level, wasn't it?
In Rob Balogun, did we see the X factor that Ireland have maybe been missing?
Yeah, I think so at times. Just probably would have liked to have seen it a bit more. I thought James Lowe actually really stood up well, and you know, been a bit undercooked. Maybe not many minutes after the Lions series. he wasn't involved against France. I thought he was physical, was busy, was looking for the ball all the time. But Balogun, he still had a lot to do. The Ulster partnership, McCloskey got his hands free, gave a great offload. I think it was the NBA basketball over the top, and Balogun still had quite a bit to do to get over the line and kind of drag 2 or 3 defenders across with him. But yeah, he'll grow, and they're 2 big physical guys, aren't they? The 2 of them.
Are you glass half full or glass half empty a couple of games into this championship?
Good question. Yeah, I'm sitting on the fence a bit. Look, last week was so disappointing, wasn't it? Especially that first half. I suppose the positives for the France game were the scrum and the set piece, the maul defence. The discipline was good. They only gave 6 penalties away. The positives and negatives for today are the negatives. I've touched on it. Is the scrum. I suppose the confidence you take is they saw the game out. They came under pressure, and but yeah, certainly it is worrying going into that England game next week.
Which is a daunting week, isn't it? This build-up.
Yeah, daunting week. I think all eyes are peeled now on the Calcutta Cup, and Scotland have done a job on England for the last few years, haven't they? So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, what unfolds. But it's going to be a massive, massive test, clearly, next week going into that England game.
Okay, we'll hear from Conor after we hear the result from the Calcutta Cup. But first of all, let's get the perspective from the Ireland camp, players and coaches. Stuart McCloskey, welcome to the Ireland Rugby Social.
He's trying to buy me back here with this. He hasn't got me on the podcast yet. No, he's trying to be nice.
Yeah, we'd love to come down, but we can't get access to you boys. You know what it's like at this time of year.
Big time for you.
What about this quarterback throw? Tell us about the pass for the try.
I know, it's getting a lot of love. No, it's just off the cuff, and I was saying to the guys in there, a lot of my attitude when I'm playing with Raw Balogun is just get him the ball at any stage. So that was just how I got it to him, and I think he did most of the hard work after that.
Big day for him. He's electric, isn't he?
He's class, and I think he's shown how good he's been when he's played this year. He's been, for Ulster, he's been world class when he's been fit, and you could say that for the last probably 4 or 5 years from him. He's absolutely electric. He scores tries that other people can't score. He takes balls in the air that other people can't take. So I just hope he stays fit and he gets a good run of games.
What's the feeling been like in the dressing room after that one?
I think we're delighted. Like, it showed a lot of character. I don't think everything went our way. Obviously, we probably left a few opportunities out there, but I think they'd say they probably left things out there as well. So I thought the resilience at the end to stay in there, not concede. I think overall, fairly happy.
You're very experienced, but was that a stressful one to be part of?
Oh yeah, I'd be lying to you if I said no. It was stressful. I think obviously we're under the cosh a bit from the performance in France last week, and we came here and we knew Italy were a good team after the win last week against Scotland, and it obviously wasn't all going our way, but as I said, I think there was a lot of character shown to come out with the result.
Was it good to see some of those younger guys get a chance, and I suppose for them to get the win and feel part of what the Six Nations is all about, because it is different?
It's always good to see all of them, like Edmund get his first cap, good to see Rob get back in. Like, I love seeing Izzy play as well. Like, Rob and Izzy have so much X factor. I think they showed a bit of that today. I think there's more to come as well. So yeah, it gives me energy when I'm playing with those guys as well.
How much of a buzz for you is there before you head to Twickenham?
Yeah, it's great. I was saying there, it's probably 10 years nearly to the day since I got my first cap there. So it'd be nice sort of come around, getting played there again, and I haven't played there since. So yeah, it'd be nice. Hopefully we put a good performance. I think we're building something, especially this week, and we'll build in the next week and hopefully come up with a performance. You
will be underdogs. Is that a nice place to be?
Don't know. I'd probably rather be the favourites. I've been the favourites a lot when I play for Ireland, but it's something different. It's something different for this team to probably get a hold of. But yeah, it'll be nice going there. I know they'll be under pressure. I don't know how the result's going to go today with them in Scotland, but yeah, they'll be favourites going in there no matter what. And I think if we play the right brand of rugby, if we get our stuff right, I think we'll put them under pressure.
Okay, top man. We'll see you now.
Good.
Thanks for joining us.
Good.
Good lad.
Thanks, guys.
See you, bud. Big Izzy, how was today? Win? Happy man?
Yeah, happy. It was obviously pretty touch and go in that second half for a while. You know, sitting edge of my seat, but you know, we spoke about it last week, just having a bit of edge about us after that loss, bringing it in physicality, and I think, you know, lads like James Ryan, Caelan Shortley and the ball carry and stuff, and that kind of lifted the team and we got over the line.
How mad has the week been for you? Because you came in for a lot of us, maybe out of left field, maybe not for you, but straight in.
No, I'm the same as you. I was actually sitting in London meeting a surgeon like maybe 5 weeks ago. He told me to get surgery and take 6 months out, and I spoke with the physio up there, also physio and Irish physio, kind of came together and they said, like, listen, we'll give it one more shot. I've obviously missed most of the season. This year I played 4 or 5 games, so came in, got my rehab done. I'm in great hands down here. Got a few things together and they managed me well, and happy to get out and play and make my Six Nations debut, so it's been mental.
What was the message from Andy?
Just kind of, it's just about being yourself and chasing that feeling, you know, because it's for easy in these games you go out there, it's different level to club rugby, like, or even, you know, European Cup, it's different level, it's tough, it's traditional, like boys want to hurt you and obviously you want to hurt them, so at the same time he just speaks about chasing that feeling, making lads around you feel good, backing up good moments after good moments, and then, you know, the game will flow after that.
A Six Nations debut, how different did it feel?
Yeah, obviously it's different, you know, last summer I played Georgia and Portugal, probably the most competitive games, and then that Fiji game I played as well, you know, I thought we were a bit more dominant than today, and today was probably my first test of it. It's different buzz, you know, it's mental, like coming into the stadium, and even, you know, on your phone a couple of days up to it, like people really appreciate it differently. To me it was a bit of a shock, you know, to me playing for Ireland, but for everyone else around me it was such a big deal, so it was a challenge, but I enjoyed it.
On the game itself, you had a lot of territory first half. Did you feel you should have done a bit more?
Yeah, we're actually speaking about that in the showers there, the last side.
Steady on.
We're just
It's a bit of insight you don't normally get.
Sorry, I cut that. No, we were speaking about it, and lads were saying how at times we felt very dominant, but just we weren't really getting that result. You know, coming into half time, I looked at the scoreboard as a bit of a shock myself, because, you know, we make it look so easy at times, and then other times then, you know, we make it quite hard for ourselves. But yeah.
Were you surprised with how good Italy were?
Yeah, not at all. No, if you're watching them in the 20s last couple of years, and like, listen, at Ulster we know more than anything playing against Zebra and Treviso, like, we're always going in for war for them. That's like they always turn up, and we know from them they hit hard, they carry hard, and they're passionate. They're a great club, and they've got some great players in it. So
Great day for Ulster. How are the boys feeling?
unbelievable, yeah. How good seeing Big Rob Balogun man of the match. Like, unbelievable. It was class. No, it was class. Stu was Stu, really. I wouldn't say he was any better than he usually is, because he was unbelievable all the time. So it was class.
Enjoy. You're busy.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Well done, big man.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Well, it's been a long day, but it's been worth the wait. Conor's back with us.
Tailed it across town for you guys, yeah.
Yeah. How are you? Well, let's talk England game first, because we were in the belly of the Aviva, speaking to the lads, when it was all kicking off, and wow, England beaten.
Yeah. England tails up going to Murrayfield, bogey land for them though. And Scotland started really well first 20 minutes, and I think that's really important, because England are a team, they're class, but they do like to, not that they like to go 3-6-9, but in that kind of fashion, controlled game and aerial, and then Ford picks and chooses his moments when to, you know, unleash the backline. And then Scotland got such a lead, I felt, and we didn't shoot it. They just had to chase the game that they're not comfortable with chasing. Maybe, you know, we thought this, a lot of people were talking about England like this unbelievable outfit, and they have been for 12 games. They were going for 12 or 13 in a row.
Yeah, they were juggernaut.
Yeah, and they just looked, you know, the red card obviously for that period, they kind of just looked without options and kind of rudderless. And, you know, that the charge down for Hugh Jones' try, I think he finished it. England it was 24-13 the scoreline, and like they were 10 metres from the Scottish line, and then they just looked so flat, and then they had to go for a drop goal. Well, very little option but that, and it looked like a laboured enough drop goal, and then the charge down, that was it. So then for Scotland, like, consistency is the question over them, and lose to Italy, then they beat England well today. So that's another, Gregor can breathe for another night. But it's strange, because what Scotland shows up next week is an interesting one.
What England turns up next week, that's the mad one, because we were all geared up for Ireland heading over there as underdogs, which they probably still will do, but it throws everything up in the air.
Yeah, I think so. I think the issue, or the threat, or the you know, the danger is that England are hurting now, and, you know, they were talking. There was, I don't know, were they saying it, but they were, the media and that side of it were, you know, Grand Slam, and this team is, you know, firing well, and it's, you know, Grand Slam decider against France in the last game, and now it's a little bit different. So
not even a triple crown now.
Yeah, so they're hurting now, which is going to be tough. But it shows vulnerabilities in their game. Especially, there'll be a lot to it, but like, if you start well against England and you get a lead, then you kind of force them to play a game that they're more comfortable playing the original way, you know, steady and build their way into the game, whether it be penalties or, you know, forward dominance. But if you get a good start, like Scotland did, you know, you force them to chase the game. So, yeah, I think we go there with a little bit more optimism than we probably thought, even though we, today was weird for Ireland because we stuttered through it a little bit, but then there was other parts of it that were really good. But still, inaccuracies is probably the main one. And scrum.
Yeah, the scrum was a worry.
Yeah.
Tag furlong going backwards like that, up in the air.
Yeah, you don't see it often, do you, at all? And you know, everyone will talk about Tadhg, that image, I'm sure. But you know, talking to Peter O'Mahony in studio there, like obviously a scrum is an 8-man effort. So you know, what do they do now? Like, you know, Tom O'Toole was really good when he came on. But it's just a concern, especially England, another big scrum. You know, like people talked about France being such a big test, but Italy had a massive scrum today, and they always do kind of naturally and traditionally. So another big test next week, scrummaging wise, because you can see the problems it can cause. And we're talking about South Africa again, are we? Or, you know, we could be going back, but there were elements of today that were really good by Ireland, and like I think the public will be like, oh, we didn't hammer Italy or we barely beat Italy, which is fair enough, and there are issues in the Ireland attack, etc. But Italy are really good. That's as good an Italy side as I've seen, and they played really well today.
We got the feeling, speaking of the players, that they felt this was coming almost from Italy. They've had decent under-20 teams for years, and it kind of all came together. So, in one way, was it great that Ireland just got over the line against them?
Yeah, yes and no. Like, we knew this was going to be a tough test. I've spoken about it before, it being like 50-odd, 60 minutes until you break Italy. And it looked like that when the bench came on and then Crowley came on for that. Like, that was his first involvement, was that whole passage from that line out that ended up in Balakun's try. And then you're kind of thinking, all right, we could pull away here. But then I think it shows the class of Italy nowadays, that they stood in the fight, or stuck in the fight, and they were there till the very end. And we had to rely on a really good defensive set, and Lowy making a really good read, because he was under pressure in that. For that intercept, he was the last man, so kind of all or nothing, and he came up. But I thought he was really good. Sorry, I thought Lowy was really good today. You could see it in him, you know, that he was hurting from last week, because it's very unusual for him to feel left out, or to be left out, and that feeling for him would have been very strange. So I think he's back on that left wing.
How good's Balakun?
Class, isn't he? Like,
He's X factor that we don't seem to have.
Yeah, we did a little package on him before the game, and that X factor was shown, like that out and out gas, his agility, but his strength, like for that try as well, like he, and a few of his carries, like he just, like he's a big man, strong, and like and can hold his own. So sometimes you worry about it, like an X factor, really fast winger, is he big enough to kind of deal with the physical stuff? But he can. Yeah, I'm delighted for him, because he's had a lot of injuries that have kind of stuttered his form or his availability for selection. So hopefully he gets another chance next week.
What about selection then? For England and for Ireland? Because I think you can see changes on both teams. Probably England dramatically so. Do you throw Pollock in?
Yeah, he's not that he's stuck, but like bringing him off the bench, it brings an energy to the team and what he can do. But then an argument to have that energy from the start. And you know, you see with Northampton, he plays 80 minutes and he's going like that for 80 minutes. I don't know. I think England have been going so well that they won't feel rushed into making too many changes, maybe one or two. Especially in attack, they just looked like, I've been banging on about George Ford pulling the strings for so long lately, and not that it was his fault, but they just looked they lacked direction. Well, I suppose that is down to a 9 and 10 today. So I'd say he'll get another go. They won't change much, but Ireland, who knows?
Speaking of 9 and 10, big changes when Gibson Park and Crowley come on. Do you go with them next week?
Yeah, I think you do, don't you? I think
you have to. As Prendergast had his chance, now there was a feeling in the stadium. It was a big roar when Crowley came on.
Really, yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's a negative towards Prendergast or a positive
towards
but
people
Crowley,
are going to make a story out of that, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There was a really
a
big
proper
noise.
noticeable one. Okay. I think Crowley starts the next game, because he did so well when he came on. I think place kicking is I don't think Jack's stats are where he has had them before, but he came on and kicked 2 kicks. I know one of them was very, very easy, but you could argue that Sam's kicks were absolutely gettable as well. So it's just like we could have another conversation next week after England if Jack starts and they don't win and Sam comes on and plays well. So I think it's just the way this is. We're going around and roundabout with this one. Like, this is Jack's turn again. And I think Andy's just hoping someone grabs it. You know what I mean?
Excuse Jack for the
shank
kick at the end, the shank. The good
yeah. I saw in the car on the way over, heard Andy speaking that he's not looking. Not that he's not looking at it, because that's a pretty big moment. Going for a bonus point in terms of the championship now, especially England losing. I think it's a big moment, but I think overall he did really well, and that's so unusual. Like, was it a moment lapse in concentration, or it went too fast on TV. We didn't really get to see it, but he'd be annoyed at that, definitely.
Do you stick with the wingers for next week? Yes.
Yeah. Quick answer, definitely. I think Lowy came out with a point to prove. I thought he did that, and same with Rob. I thought he was brilliant. Obviously, man of the match and really good in the air. Which is very important for next week, because England, that's the game they play more so than any team. So and Jamie Osborne was very good. There's loads of positives to take out of it, but then it seems with any game we review lately, it's like there's always going to be some sort of issue. Scrum is there, handling a little again. Sorry, not a little bit, definitely handling and the flow of things. Just at times it looks really good, because you saw at times like the quick hands to get around Italy's line speed, and it worked, and we found space, and then a few just silly kind of errors that we're not used to seeing from Ireland. But I think for me, in that way Andy played, it took us all a long time to get used to the way Andy wanted to play, and now you see Izuchukwu coming in who did really well. He was just a bit quiet. Like, just hope to see him more in the open, and just those opportunities. Yeah, solid. Like, those opportunities didn't come by him too much. But there's a lot of new guys that are getting a lot of time in the saddle now to get used to the way Andy's wanting to play, and I'd say it's tough on Andy's patience, to build it again. But I think Pete said it. You have to learn those lessons in the hard way sometimes, and that's in Test match rugby. But there's good and bad again today.
Tag Burn next week.
Yeah, I think you have to, don't you? Where, I don't know, because of the scrum, and I don't know. Like, do
they work their way backwards from the issues with the scrum, or do you just go, we need him?
I think Tig and Jamison were given a bit of a rest today, being honest. Because they've been standout performers for the last while for Ireland, and they've played a lot of rugby, the two of them. So I think they both come back in. Tig definitely, just for that. Everyone talks about his breakdown and his ability to steal, and he's such a smart rugby player as well, and he knows how to play the way Andy likes to play. It's all like, there's loads of elements to the game, but it's the phase play stuff and general play that Andy is passionate about, and it's the heartbeat of the Irish team at the minute, and has been for a while. So Tig plays that really well. Same with Furlong. He's back on the pitch, definitely.
So do you put him in the row and then get Van der Fleer back in with Conan?
I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. I think Joe McCarthy's been brilliant, and I think James Ryan is. I think James has to play. I know there's not enough room to play them all, but
the way the scrum's going, we could do a 9 in there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, just see if the ref spots 17 or 18 lads on the pitch. I think James Ryan just gives you that breakdown efficiency and the way Ireland want to play. He's such a vital cog in that wheel. Not that other lads can't do it, but that's kind of his point of difference.
So we've had big disappointment against France. A win, albeit not a perfect win today. Is the acid test England away?
Yeah. Just to see where you're really at and see what they can turn around in a week and what they can fix in a week. Because the first week we were all about the scrum and line out, and would that function, and that did against France more often than not. And the phase play, you can say the weather and things like that, but France played pretty well that night. So I don't think Ireland take the weather as an excuse. So this week phase play was definitely better, but there were still handling errors and things like that, and a couple of lineouts, overthrows and things. So always bits to fix. So going to Twickenham, there's no better place to go and kind of get it right. And that raises your game as well. Like Scotland today playing England, probably their most emotional game, and Ireland, you could say nearly the same. You know, it raises you up a bit.
It feels like that result today tees it up to be an even bigger game.
Yeah, just because of, you know, did England slip up? And a lot of talk about them winning the Grand Slam, and I think Ireland will go there now and see vulnerabilities in them. Whereas if they had kind of rolled on again to this, was it 12 or 13 games in a row, they were on a winning streak. Had that happened, you know, you would have been a bit more nervous. But now you can kind of see a little, and you saw glimpses from Ireland too of what they can do. I know it's hit or miss at times, but if they get it together for a sustained period, then I think we're in with a shout.
That's the big question, can they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were only talking about it half an hour ago. Absolutely. Whether it's me being biased just out of the group or just me being able to see what they're trying to do and how they're trying to play, yeah, they can get it together 100%. Big ask going to Twickenham also. Like I said before, it's always, in my opinion, the toughest place to go, just with the history and the rivalry. But yeah, like being an optimist, if they get it all together here in Twickenham and they come out with a result, and you're like, okay, maybe things aren't as bad as all 99% of the public seem to think. I'm on the 1%.
I'll be in the 1% too. Come on, let's go. It's going to be some week, can't wait.
Yeah, I will want to. Yeah. England away. No better test. They're hurting. We're kind of hurting too. We definitely are. A lot of pressure on the lads. So, got to win, which is the most important thing. And, you know, a few hard lessons again will be learned, and on we go.
And we'll be there on the Ireland Rugby Social.
Let's see you there, lads. Twickers.